Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shijun Wang. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my experience on how to prevent hand injuries. Um, Although we know that playing the piano is not a pure physical or sporting thing, right? We use our brain, we use our ears, we use our foot, but to some extent, our finger has to run on the keyboard like bolt has to run on the tracks. So if physically we're hurt, we're not comfortable, if something there is a shooting pain, then that stops us from progressing, that stops us from learning pieces. So I'm here going to share some points with you on how to prevent hand injury. Number one, it's how long should we practice, right? If you practice only 15 minutes a day or half an hour a day, then probably you shouldn't continue to watch this, because then it's very hard to get an injury if you only practice 10 minutes a day. So if you do it more than 2 hours a day, and then if you suddenly increases the time amount. Yeah, we see this often 2 weeks before the jury or 2 weeks before someone's concert. Then we see them having some patches on or having some ices on, because then the hand is hurting. Well, because the student didn't practice enough, and then suddenly they want to catch up, and then practice 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and that usually is not good. About 2 months ago, we had a family vacation in Hawaii where I really literally didn't touch the piano for 11 days. Um, of course, when we come back, the first thing I did is, try to practice some of my Chopin etudes, and it felt terrible. Um, but I had to tell myself, only practice half an hour. Yeah, just practice slowly. Make sure my muscle is somehow getting used to the same level of exercises again. Okay, and then the next day I did probably 45 minutes, and probably after a week I feel like, oh, my fingers are my own again. Yeah, I can do the things I could before the vacation. The same thing goes, I guess, with our physical health. Yeah, I think I overheard this from the radio, that sometimes for a man in their mid 40s, is quite dangerous at this age for people to get heart attack, because their heart is not as young as when they were in their early 30s or in their late 20s, but they think they're still young because they can still run very fast, they can still jump, they can still do some very violent physical exercises, but then their heart is is not ready. So they suddenly play basketball and then have heart problems. I guess it's the same, especially for a professional pianist. And you can play the Winter Wind, but you haven't touched the piano for 10 days, and you want to just go ahead and play like you used to be, and that's usually where the injury occurs. So don't do too much in very sudden way. Yeah, do 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and keep it consistent. And this is really something to all the piano students. If you practice 10 hours a day and then rest for 4 hours, it's not as good as if you just practice 2 hours a day 5 days straight. Okay. The other thing is that always keep your hands warm. Yeah, I did my DMA in Rochester, yeah, at Eastman School of Music, and I remember Miss Chu, if she ever sees any of her students with a bare hand in the winter, she will come to you and give you a lecture. How could you not wear your gloves, right? I mean, Rochester is very, very cold. Yeah, sometimes even below 0 Fahrenheit. So to keep it warm is very, very important. Um, the next important thing is to develop a good habit of relaxation. When we see a note, we often only think about how to begin the note, how to play the note. very often students doesn't care how it ends, right? There is the rhythmic aspect of it. You have to release the note in time with the pedal, but also you have to release the tension. Yeah, maybe this doesn't go note by note, sometimes phrase by phrase. Yeah, a phrase of 5 notes. But after the phrase, you have to physically relax, release the tension. The same way, like if you swim, right? After one breaststroke, after one strike, you have to take a breath. And that breathing is almost like here, release the tension, release the tension. This also, if you find yourself sometimes the elbow, sometimes the forearm hurts after you play a piece, then that's what happened. You're not releasing the tension often enough. And the other very weird position that might cause injury is when you have very large stretches. Yeah, at Juilliard, I remember many of us when we were talking on injury, we talk about Rachmaninoff's third concerto. Yeah, after playing that, after performing that, my whole arm is sore. After practicing that for a day, then there is pain everywhere, because Rachmaninoff had huge hand. He could reach 13th, yeah, from C to A flat. But I mean, I have pretty big hand. I can reach a 11th. I can pretty much play a chord in the 11th, but still not as big. So for Rachmaninoff, a normal position is a stretching for most human being on Earth. Um, and if you only just have a stretch, it's discomfortable, but it doesn't hurt you. But if you are trying to stretch and play fortissimo, if you press with pressure, then that hurts the hand. So there is really no cure. I guess if you can only reach an octave, stay away from Rachmaninoff, or roll the chords with pedal and roll the chords, because nothing is worse to put the chance that you might get injured. The other thing is the wrist deviation. So if you are playing in this register, it's comfortable. If you're playing in this register, it's okay. But if your hand is here, and then your body is here, then there is this very bad angle, you see, from the wrist to the hand. And if you just do this, that's okay. But if you again try to press it, then that will hurt the wrist. I think that's the cause of most tendinitis. Yeah, people don't know, they're not aware that they're in a very awkward position and then still play fortissimo, because usually when it's here, sometimes it's chords. So how do I do that? We have to always be very vigilant on the angle, yeah, with our wrist, with our hand, so that the whole arm is moving, or sometimes even the upper body is moving, instead of fighting against the hand, which creates a very bad angle. Okay, and of course, take a lot of breaks. Not only physically for your hands to rest, but also for your brain to rest. Yeah, I felt it very difficult if you're concentrated for an hour. I felt it very difficult to keep practicing with that full concentration. So I would recommend to take a break every 45 minutes. Yeah, a very short break, maybe a bathroom break, maybe drink something for 5 minutes, walk around, but make sure that the hands are really like the legs of athletes, right? Don't overdo it, and don't do it without breaks. It's winter time in Utah. It's pretty cold, so if you're in Boston or New York or Vancouver, make sure wear your gloves when you go out. Keep it warm, and then do some warm-ups before you practice. Don't dive into Rock Third or Tchaikovsky first or Chopin etudes when you start your practicing of the day. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you stay healthy. See you next time.